Am I the a-hole for leaving my wife at a restaurant after she insulted me? Original post. My wife, 31 female, and I were at a restaurant to celebrate a big milestone in my career. I was talking about my career in voice acting, which I absolutely love, before she decided to insult me by saying, "You should be a mime instead, so no one has to hear you talking anymore." My wife always makes a lot of jokes like these, basically insulting me, which I usually don't pay too much attention to. This joke in particular really hurt me because I used to be very self-conscious about my voice due to being bullied for years about the way I used to speak. So this hit me really hard. She also knows this was a hard point in my life, and it was very hard to get past it. After she said this, I just said, "Are you serious?" before standing up abruptly and walking away. I didn't tell her where I was going, but I drove to my studio and have been here for the past few hours. She has been blowing up my phone with calls and messages about leaving her at the restaurant to pay the bill. It was an expensive restaurant and I usually pay for our outings as I make more money, and for leaving her stranded since I took the car when I left. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting. As my wife always says, this is just her sense of humor, and that I need to stop being a snowflake. But she is blowing up my phone, calling me immature for leaving over a joke. Am I the a-hole for leaving her at the restaurant? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Does she even like you? It's not a joke if no one's laughing. I would like to think so, because we have been married for almost 5 years. She never used to make jokes like this before, so I'm not really sure what happened. Someone said this week, a joke at the expense of someone is only funny if the subject of the joke is laughing about it. She's mean to you without any reason. What does she get from making this type of comments? Not the a-hole. Your wife is a bully. Who is upset that you finally stood up to her and showed up her poor behavior? She belittles you via her so-called sense of humor to make her feel better about herself. I would hope that this might make her think about her behavior in future, but I doubt it. Bullies never change. They just become more subtle or find a new target. You need to have a good long think about the whole relationship. My ex-wife would do this stuff all the time, and I didn't fully recognize it as abusive until after we split. In my case, it ended up getting so awful she would joke nearly every day about me ending my life and making it look like an accident so she would get insurance money. And where I finally decided to draw a line with her was the fact that nobody else was around to laugh at her biting wit. So who was this joke for? Certainly not for you. Was the server laughing? Meanwhile, if someone was around to laugh, what's the joke? You get to feel humiliated and exposed? I don't blame you for walking out. This stuff escalates over time, until you just can't sit there and take it. Whoa, I'm happy for you that you left. Someone has joked like that to someone I loved, and then started getting physical. I truly cannot take those jokes as less than legit threats. Good on you for figuring out you deserve respect. I hate to say it, but she initiated the end of things. But we worked together and still had to cohabitate, and that's when I put my foot down about the jokes. When we were together romantically, I could tell myself, healthy couples roast each other. But I realized how ugly it all was when there was no love left and the jokes kept coming. That's when I finally put my foot down and said, it's not a joke if you really feel that way. That it was totally inappropriate now, and I didn't have to put up with it. That stuff finally stopped. The self-respect and self-love came later, while I looked back on everything and saw how I treated myself. I know it sounds wrong, but for my sanity, I had to take some responsibility. I allowed myself to be treated that way and talked myself out of leaving so many times. I had to face that so I wouldn't do it to myself again. I hope your friend is out of that situation. I will admit, there was a lot of fist slamming and throwing things in my relationship, so yeah, that kind of aggression escalates. Hope things are better for your friend as they are better for me. Now for the update. To answer a few comments I got, my wife is unemployed and has been for the past few years. She was working in a very toxic company and ended up leaving due to it taking a toll on her mental health. I don't care that she is unemployed, as my salary is enough to support both of us comfortably. The restaurant was only a 10-minute drive away from our home, and she had the house keys, so she was not locked outside. My wife and I have known each other since we were teenagers and have been married for 5 years. We have always gotten along well, but things have steadily been going downhill since she became unemployed. I introduced my wife to playing games online after she lost her job, since she had a lot of free time and didn't know what to do. I thought we could bond over this, and I even ended up buying her a complete setup. As time has gone on, my schedule has gotten a lot busier, and she has been spending most of her time online, and honestly, has seemed quite disconnected from reality. We have had many arguments about her change in attitude and lack of interest in our relationship. Most of the time when we talk or if I tell her about something good that has happened to me, she says something out of pocket, but always ends up playing it off as a joke if I press on it. Despite this, she is also very lovely and sweet sometimes, so don't think of her as a bad person. Anyway, for the update, I ended up messaging my wife while I was at my studio, saying that I wanted to take some time to think first, and that I would be coming back home in the morning to talk with her about what happened. I also apologized for leaving her and not telling her where I was going, but she didn't reply, which is a little unusual considering she had been blowing up my phone. I got pretty worried that something had happened to her, so I ended up driving back home at around 2 to 3 a.m. I found her drinking alcohol at home. I've had a suspicion for a while that my wife has been drinking secretly, but every time I try to ask her about it, she changes the topic or avoids me. When she saw me, she asked why I came back home and said she didn't want to see me. She seemed pretty drunk, so I tried to give her some water and sober her up a little, but she just knocked it out of my hands and started yelling at me, saying I embarrassed her, that I'm ruining everything for her, and throwing a lot of insults. After her outburst, she locked herself away in her bedroom. I ended up looking through her PC. I'm not proud of that, after seeing a few comments that she could be cheating on me or that she resents me, and I found that she has been sending nudes to multiple different people online. I haven't really spoken to her since that happened, or brought up what I found. This happened a few days ago. We've only said a few words here and there since that night. I have been staying at my studio for as long as I can each day since this happened. I don't know how to face my wife or even look at her anymore. It's gotten to the point where I can't even focus on my work properly anymore. A lot of comments pointed out the abuse, and after really evaluating the relationship and how I've been treated these last few years, I can really see it. I was so blinded and kept thinking to myself that things would somehow get better. But I think it's best to take some time to myself now. I've spoken to a few lawyers about divorce, but I'm still waiting. I'm not sure where my wife will live or how she will support herself since I have been supporting her financially, so I'm still trying to work things out. This will probably be the only update I make regarding this situation, so thank you again to everyone who commented and supported me. My dude, it sounds like your partner has hit a serious low point and needs help. The question is, are you going to be willing to put up with the toxic behavior she, or more accurately, her likely depression, is going to throw at you? I've been on the other side of a similar situation and got dropped like the pile of burning trash that I was at the time. I'm not advising it, but I just want to warn you. She sounds depressed and like she's self-medicating, trying to find meaning in much of anything. You've got your career and job, so she may very well feel like she's a burden on you and holding you back, which may feed into the self-destructive behaviors she's currently showing. Whether or not you choose to stay with her, and I do hope you choose to stay, get her into some counseling as soon as humanly possible. Take a few days off and make yourself unavoidable. Make her aware that she is part of your life and that you want to make sure she's okay. Depression spirals are ugly things, and it sounds like you're seeing the long-term effects here, according to a random internet stranger. The time where the small transgressions stop giving that dopamine hit, she may move into more serious transgressions. Sit down with her and have a very long, sober talk about everything. Don't force her, but make it extremely difficult for her to passively avoid it. She sounds like they're in the depths of self-loathing. A helping hand may be all she needs to start climbing her way out. Either way, good luck, and go in kindness. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when we were teenagers and has been on medication, so I've already dealt with mood swings for basically the whole time I've known her. It probably would have been helpful to include this in the post. Since we started having so many problems, I've suggested for her to see a therapist multiple times, and even found a few for her, but she didn't want to. I care about her, but I don't deserve to be treated like this. She has betrayed me and has walked all over me for quite a while now. I understand she is having a bad time, but I have done everything I can and more to try and help her. I can't force her to get help if she doesn't want to be helped in the first place. OP, you definitely deserve a better partner than that. Wife left her job because it was toxic. Maybe she was the toxic atmosphere. Either it was toxic and hurt people, or she felt attacked whenever anyone called her out on her BS because she was at it constantly. I hope OP gets out. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law she married the wrong brother? My brother, let's call him Russell, and I are complete opposites. I was always the academically smart one. I graduated from a top university and now make a great income working as an engineer. Russell is more of the typical American man. He's a Navy SEAL, loves his beer, and is loud. He had a series of relationships in his early 20s that went nowhere, and for the longest time in our family, we joked that he would probably be the last one to get married, if ever. Well, when he was 25, he met my sister-in-law, Christina. They met at a library when he failed a pickup line and she made fun of him for it. They talked for a bit, and then he asked for her number. The rest is history. Christina is absolutely gorgeous. She's a beautiful brunette with blue eyes, tall, and looks like a French model. She's also very smart, as she's an aerospace engineer and loves books and old movies as much as I do. We get along quite well and mostly talk about nerdy stuff when we're in the same room. My parents love her too. She gets along with my dad more since she's probably the only person in our family who actually enjoys hearing his stories 500 times. I'll be honest, I didn't think their relationship would go far, at least not to marriage, but they did. They got married last week. During a family dinner at my mom's house, Christina made a joke about how their weekends are mostly spent either hiking or doing some sort of physical activity, which she doesn't like, but loves it since she knows Russell loves it. Russell laughed and said it's good for both of them. I joked that she should have ended up with a nerd like me, since I would get her more. My parents and other siblings laughed, and my dad agreed, saying he couldn't believe she chose Russell over his other sons. But I stopped when I realized Russell wasn't laughing, and neither was Christina. I apologized quickly, and Russell just told me to drop it. They left and didn't stay for dessert. Christina reached out to me and told me she didn't appreciate my comment, and that I should know Russell is perfect for her. Russell hasn't spoken to me since. My parents think he took it to heart and is being dramatic, but my sister said we might have hurt his feelings, and now I'm feeling like an a-hole. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. You're the a-hole. You reek of ego, condescension, and a superiority complex. That wasn't a joke. A joke is intended to make the recipient laugh. You made a jab at him that fell into I want to sleep with your wife territory, and now you're shocked that he's mad as heck? Cue the shocked Pikachu face and stark lack of self-awareness. Not just sleep with your wife, but also you're not worthy of your wife, and she should leave you for me because I'm clearly the better choice over you. Like OP has never heard of opposites attracting. She clearly thinks having the opposite as her husband is good for her, and being pushed to do things she'd never really try. Like hiking, even if most of the enjoyment comes from spending time with her husband. And everybody agrees with me? What an a-hole. You're the a-hole. You come off as super jealous and you made both of them uncomfortable. Honestly, it was a pretty nasty thing to say. Your brother got her, not you. Time to come to terms with it. The jealousy and overcompensation for his true feelings of inadequacy is very clear. He is upset that his brother, who he allegedly believes is beneath him, although he probably knows is a better choice, found a woman whom he wants, but loves his brother. It's pathetic. And yeah, OP, you're the a-hole. Maybe work on your self-esteem and whatever issues have led you to be petty and bitter. Your family are a-holes too, for laughing and joining in. The brother will either be retired as a SEAL with a very nice pension and benefits in 10 years, than have the entire rest of his life to pursue another career. Or he'll go lifelong military and end up with a pretty high rank and lots of opportunities for travel and respect. And a hot wife that OP can't have. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor I dated her husband? Original post. I, 33 female, became friendly with my neighbor, 37 female. Let's call her Emily, after I helped her move a few boxes into our building, while her husband, 35 male, was in the hospital. I didn't meet Emily's husband until a few weeks later, when she invited me over for dinner as thanks. When I arrived first, Emily's husband had run out to pick up some wine, but when he came back, I was shocked to see Matt, a guy I had gone on 3 dates with a year ago, before he suddenly ghosted me. He had a terrible poker face and tried to pretend like he didn't recognize me, but I don't play those games. I asked how long they had been married, and Emily said 3 years. She recognized there was tension and asked if we knew each other. He said no. I said yes, and told Emily that I had gone on dates with him a year ago. She became very upset and asked me to leave, which I did. The next day, Emily reached out and said that she didn't appreciate that I lied about when I dated her husband. He told her we had dated 4 years ago, before they were married. I didn't even live in this city 4 years ago, and even if we had dated 4 years ago, they had been engaged at that point. Either way, he would have been cheating. I sent her screenshots of our texts from the year before, and from Bumble. His profile was still active. She never responded, but when I saw her in the lobby yesterday, she wouldn't even look me in the eye. I don't know if they're still together, and Emily hasn't responded to my texts. So, am I the a-hole for telling her the truth? You told her the info she did need to hear, now just let the pieces fall where they will. Do not engage further, not the a-hole. You are being honest, but it's best to leave her alone now. If I was Emily, I would probably ask you to leave too, because I wouldn't want you to witness me screaming at my cheating dirtbag of a husband. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing. Mini update. Emily just stopped by. We had a quick chat, but she let me know that she's kicked Matt out and she thanked me for telling the truth. She also found out that I was not the only person he dated while they were married. Giving her space now, but wanted to share an update since it happened so quickly after posting. Glad she's not mad at you and she kicked that a-hole out. Right? So often the woman gets all the blame. For some, it's so much easier to blame the woman who a man cheated with, rather than the actual cheater. Glad she was more level-headed than that. So glad for this. I can totally understand how her first reaction was to stand by her husband, showing her love for him. He definitely doesn't deserve her. But then coming around and facing the facts. You definitely saved that woman from a life of misery. I think/hope she knows that, and hopefully in time she'll truly appreciate you. She's understandably very hurt now, but so much better off because of you.